Hey, what's up, guys? We're back with another review, and today we're going to be looking at Zeta's Armageddon combiner arm of Takeoff, which is their version of Blastoff. This is about a month late, and I'm sorry. I just had some other things going on. I never did get a chance to review this guy, so I'm going to do it today. First of all, let's take a look at the packaging, get that out of the way. And like all the Zeta figures, they come in this really nice box. Adjust the camera a little bit. And these boxes are pretty solid. On the side here, you got a picture of Blastoff, Zeta, picture of the alt mode, and warning, do not eat anything in this box unless you're over 15 years old. Then you can munch all you like. And on the back, you have this really nice illustration of Bruticus' shoulder and his cannon, which looks really nice. Can't wait to get these guys complete. If you've been following the forums at all, you notice that Bruticus finally has some colored shots. They're not final colored shots, which I found out. Okay, so let's get back to the figure. And we'll start with articulation. Articulation, you can move his head a little to the left, to the right, down, up just a little. He does have really nice painted metallic eyes. Right. Shoulders, they can move all the way up. You can squish his head. Move them down. They can do a full 360. And they can come out. If I can get them to come out. These are ridiculously tight on mine. Ugh. And they are on ratchets. I've had mine for a while and I'm surprised. Ugh, they haven't loosened up at all. Okay, you also have a bicep swivel, but the arm has to be in a certain position for that to work. Too far down, too far up, and it will not swivel because of these corners right here. You do have a 90 degree, just under 90 degree range of elbow movement. And the kibble, as we like to call it, moves around just nicely. The hands are on, or the wrists, I'm sorry, are on a swivel. The fingers can open up. Only the fingers are all on a solid piece. There's no moving stuff around. You can, however, if I remember right, that's kind of weird, isn't it? Apparently the pinky, I didn't realize this before, apparently the pinky is on its own joint. And the others, oh, okay, never mind. Never mind, they're all individual. My bad. Mine just wasn't working very well. And in the light, I couldn't tell they were individual. Anyway, don't listen to me. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about, apparently. And come down here, you have a upper waist swivel for the combiner arm. Comes into play there. You also have a waist swivel. And you also have, it's full of options, isn't it? You also have a side swivel. So you can get some really interesting poses with this guy. And believe it or not, as chunky as this guy is, he can pull off some really dynamic poses. I'll show you that in a little bit. Alright, so let's go to leg movement. With the hip flap up, he can move up that far. He can move back that far. Full splits. Thigh rotation. And the knees just under 90 degree of movement. And we'll come down here to the ankle tilt. He does have some really nice ankle tilt, considering. Toe can move down. Well, toe can move down quite a lot. Can't move up. Alright. And for comparison, well, actually, hold on, let's do some detail first. If you get these figures, if you have any of them already, they used a lot of this smoked clear panels. Don't know why. It's kind of like their thing now because they're on the aerial bots and the Combaticons. You have 3 of them here. You have 2 of them there. You have 2 of them down here. These are actually, yeah, those are smoked too. So, you also have some on the cockpit area in alt mode. Also, we have some really, really nice metallic grays and silvers. It's really, really purple, and I mean really purple. And the brown is kind of a medium brown, more on the light side, and the gray is just gray. But all in all, I mean the detailing and the colors kind of pop on this figure, so nothing too bad on that. Also with the figure, you also get your bio card, and it has some stats there. If you like stats, I don't like stats, so we're not going to worry about that. All right, and we're going to move the camera apparently. All right, weapons. He gets 3 weapons. He gets his 2 blasters, which are basically for the alt mode. And then he gets his standard blaster. It's also that poopy brown color, but it's got some really nice details on it. At least they tried. More than some companies do. And you also get your instruction sheet booklet. Instruction sheets. So you know how to transform him. Or you can just watch videos. Which is why I'm glad you're here. Okay. Coming back to the figure. Let's do some comparisons real quick. Let's see what we got. Alright. Let's bring in his brother. This is Whirlblade, their version of Vortex. Zeta's doing some really good stuff as far as their figures. I think so. You can't beat the price. I mean, $60. Come on now. When's the last time you got a third-party figure, masterpiece size, for $60? You didn't. All right. So, there's Vortex. Let's bring in his arch enemies. You got Air Raid. And you got Flyfire. And just for family shot, let's go ahead and bring back in Vortex. Alright, the Zeta family. These guys all look really, really good together. Personal opinion, but hey, you can't beat it for what it is. So, alright, let's get these out of the way. Out of the way. And I don't have MP36. Personally, I don't like MP36. So we'll bring in Despotron. And when your boss comes in, you gotta behave. Despotron is just around the same size as MP36, I believe. So I'll give you an idea whenever you get that figure. And we also have the BBB. You guessed it. He's in all my videos. He's like the VIP Optimus Prime. So, yeah, it scales really nice with everything. Let's go ahead and get him transformed up. And here we go. Alright. First off, let's get everything ready. Alright, you want to start on the upper body first. So, what we're going to do is get this stuff all moved out the way. Alright. First off, bring his arm up. Take and pull the hand out a little bit. And there's a panel that it's attached to. Close up the fist. Pull out this part of the shuttle nose. Close up the wrist. Push it in. Bring the nose up. rotate it 180, and it should click, and it does click. All right, pull the arm out. Okay, straighten the arm up. And somebody pointed out to me that there's a swivel in here, or not a swivel, but a thing that the arm moves on. There's a post in there. I didn't realize it because whenever I'm transforming him, he just seems to flow with it. I mean, he doesn't really, I don't really have to do anything with that. So, all right, other side. You want to rotate the arm forward, pull out the hand, bring the nose cone out, rotate it 180, push the hand end, and it'll snap into place, like so. Now, rotate the arms upward so that these flaps are facing up. Now you want to do, get my camera where you can see, is take these panels, pull them down, pull this part out, and basically what you're going to do is you're going to wrap this around the arm, okay? So I would have his arms in an X shape. That way you can get in there. And there's a post right here, and there's a screw hole right there, and you're going to put that right in there. And I'm guessing that's where this moving arm comes in handy. Okay, hold on one second. Oh, my bad. That tab does not go in that screw hole. It's just there to stop it. I see now. Usually, I don't look at this too much. This is one of the ones out of the 4 Zeta has come out with so far that just kind of flows. But I've transformed him a lot of times. This flap right here on the underside of the arm, which is up right now, you want to bring that up and you want to put it in slightly over 90 degrees of angle. Bring the other one up, bring it up and just under 90 degrees of angle. And I'll show you why. So when you bring these up, those have to fold over each other, okay? So you bring this up to itself, together, like he's holding his own hands. And everything should start to tab in. There's a weird tab right here that you're going to have to wiggle waggle a little bit to get it to go in perfect. But everything should start aligning just right. And just like that, it did. Except for that one tab. Go get in your hole. Never had a problem transforming this, but I get on camera, and of course, it wants to give me trouble. Okay, what's wrong with you? I swear, if you leave your toys alone for a little while, they get mad. Alright, get in there. There we go, finally. Now, tab everything securely. Alright, now, turn them around. These two sections right here, you don't even have to do anything with them, just push them up. Okay, and they are on a double hinge. Oh, you can't see anything. Oh, I'm sorry. Here, hold on. Let's bring the camera up. That's what having a tripod is for, right? So you can move the thing up and down. Okay. Once you get up here, take these, push them forward, push them forward, push them forward, push them forward. You gotta stretch the plastic a little bit. Like I've said on my other videos, just stretch that plastic. Stretch it. Alright, this piece here. A lot of people, and I've stressed this, and I've stressed this, and I've stressed this. A lot of people are having problems getting this piece to stay in place instead of smushing down, okay? Because it tends to want to smush down. But if you push this piece down just a little bit, it's on a double hinge. Push it down just a little bit and then push on the front, and then it'll stay put. See? No smushing. Okay? Double hinges are crazy on this thing. But if you work with them, they'll work with you. All right, upper half is done. Now let's go down to the bottom half and see if I remember how to do this. All right. All right, first of all, what I want to do, what I like to do, pull this tail fin up and lock it in place. That gets it out of the way for later. And sorry about that. Go down, go down, go down. All right, you probably missed half of that. Okay. And if you did, I'm sorry. Like I said, just come down here, open these up. That's all I've done. Lock them in place. Okay. Then I like to, the instructions don't make you do it, don't have you do it. I like to get these sections out of the way. So I like to pull the hinge out, pull the outer part of the wing out, go ahead and lock it in place. Like I said, that's just me, that's just my preference. It just makes this easier to do. Get that out of the way. Go ahead and untab these and get them out of the way. And we can bring that wing down. Let's see, what am I missing here? Oh. Anyway, you got that all out of the way. Now take and move the foot forward. It's on a really weird hinge. It's on a rolling hinge, you might say. But get it out of the way. And then pull ever so slightly on the thruster, and that'll pull a panel out. Get that panel out of the way, and then you can rock this whole assembly up. Okay, what am I missing here? I'm missing something. I'm missing something. Alright. Get that out of your way. Alright, now take this inner piece here, this inner panel, pull it out. And you're going to pull it out, and you're going to pull it out and get it out of the way. And that's on a triple hinge. So, just so you, in case you didn't have enough trouble with double hinges, you got a triple hinge. And then we are going to... Why is this all in the way? Why are you all in the way? Oh, I see. Oh, this is something else I like to do. I forgot about. The wheel for the landing gear in the back. If you pull those down, you can pull that wing all the way down. And then you can take this brown large side flap and pull it out. Okay, that will allow this to open all the way. And once that opens all the way, you have more room to do everything. So what we're going to do is, first off, before I forget to, we are going to rock this foot back again and push it inside. And when I say inside, I mean inside. So you want to push it all the way back. Mine has like a little bit of a sprue mark or something on the inside, so it kind of catches a little bit. So I never can get it all the way inside every time. But if I mess with it a little bit, I can get it to go past that. So what you want to do is you want to basically flip the foot all the way upside down, and then put the toe thruster pointing toward the nose of the shuttle. So, all right, then you want to rock the leg backward. I'll get that out of the way for a moment. Rock the leg backward. Bring his leg down. Rock the leg backward. Rock the leg backward. And it's going to fit into a groove down there. And I know you can't see that, but I promise it's there. So, once you get that in... Wow. I really got to start looking at my camera when I do this, don't I? Okay, once you get that in, and you'll be able to see the second one, so I'm confident you'll still be able to get it. Once you get that second one in, then you want to bring this back down. Back down. And it doesn't click into place, but once you bring this thruster panel back forward, it will lock it. So you're good to go. Okay, let's do the other leg. Same thing, we're going to get this panel out the way from the bottom. All right. And then we're going to pull out the landing gear so we can get this wing down all the way. And then we're going to move this panel forward. All right. Now, you want to make sure it's forward too so it doesn't catch. So go ahead and rock the foot down. Rocking the foot, rocking the foot. Come on, rock. Rock with me. All night long. All right. Pull the thruster out, get that panel out of the way, and then pull this whole assembly upward. And upward it is. Pull this panel out, rotate it forward so it's up and out of the way. And then again, you're going to rock the foot, or rock the leg, I'm sorry, backward. A little something on mine. And rock it backward and rock it backward. And it should come all the way back and sit all the way flush. If you don't have this sit and flush, it's not going to transform properly later. When you go to put the shuttle together, all those panels have to line up perfectly. And if that's out, if it's moved at all, then it's not going to come together very well. And then you may have to come back and do all this again, and you don't want to do that. I don't want you to do that. All right, close that panel up. Oh, let's put the foot in there first. Rock the foot back. Okay, all the way to where the top of the foot is now on the bottom. And then push the toe forward, and it should sit in there flush. Close this up. Close this panel. And then all we need to do now, bring the legs together. You also want to make sure that the legs are parallel with each other. You also want to make sure that the waist is centered. If the waist is not centered, it will not come together right later. All right, so close the legs together. Close the tail together on itself. And it does have a lot of points where it connects, so you want to make sure they're all closed. Okay. Pull the thrusters down together. Thrusters. And then it's starting to look like something. I'm not going to say what, but it looks like something. All right, before you start closing everything, what I like to do is I will pull these leg panels forward, okay, because they're on a double hinge. As we've said before, these can be a terror if you misstep, especially when you're bringing it back out of transformation, out of the mode here. All right, close these in and tab them, pre-tab them, because later on it's a pain in the butt to get these to work right. And I don't know why, but that's just how the planets align. So bring them up. These panels here have to close in on those brown tabs there, okay? So you have to stretch this sucker a little bit. And let's make sure everything's tabbed in right. Alright. Feels a little wishy-washy. This is what I meant by getting the legs just right. Alright, so I got mine in. They're ready to go. They're ready to go. If I can get this sucker to tab in. And I like to do all this at once instead of having to fight with it. So I'll get those tabbed in, and then I'll get these tabbed in. Hear that click? That means something tabbed in. Alright, this panel, get it tabbed in just right. These are also double hinged, so you have to be careful, make sure they're in the right position or they won't tab in. Alright, I've seen a lot of guys having trouble getting these side panels tabbed in. And the reason for that is if this thing isn't aligned all the way, if it isn't aligned just perfectly, these won't go in. So, and there's also people breaking their hinge, alright? If I pulled up on this right now, the likeliness of this hinge breaking is probably pretty good, okay? So what I like to do is I'll bring the hinge down like this, okay? And then I'll push forward. I'll push toward the top of the shuttle to get that hinge to move, okay? Once that hinge moves, this whole thing will move a lot easier. All right, if you can see it from the side, you can see how this works. Bring it down. You're going over this panel that's on the rear quarter panel of the shuttle itself. Once that's done, this part is rounded. It will move exactly the way it needs to. If you fight with it, and I'll show you what I mean. Again, you got a 90-degree angle on this panel. You have a 90-degree angle on that panel. This is not going to move up. So you want to bring this down, push it forward until it rounds that panel, if that makes any sense. Then you can push it up with ease. Don't fight with it. If you're fighting with it, something's wrong. And something's wrong, you need to go back and look before you break your figure. And chances are you can get the piece replaced, but why do all that and go through all that hassle when you don't have to? Alright. Get this panel in. Get this panel in. Can't see the panel. Getting these tabs in, that's a little bit of a pain in the butt. Like I said, the world has to come to an exact alignment with the other planets. Then everything tabs in. Once you get that, get your wings up. Get your wings up. Alright. These last two panels are easy and hard at the same time. You got a tab right here. You got a hole in here. Okay. So you're going to have to push forward. And don't worry about pushing down. Just push forward. It'll do the rest. Okay. Alright, once you get that in, then push down. Push down. Clickety, clickety. I like the clickety, clickety. That means everything's tabbed in. Alright. We are done. Okay. All we got to do is pull down. There's a little bitty thing where you can get your thumbnail on right there. Pull down and get that down. As I said, this is on a double hinge. If you pull up on it, get that angle just right, it won't look like your shuttle has a dent in the top. Okay, so tab and then push forward just slightly. There we go. There we go. All right. So we got them all done finally. And it's just me, or is it really, really hot in here? Okay. So, the great thing about this figure is everybody hates the kibble, but once you get him transformed, I've shown this figure to friends before, family, and I said, hey, do you know what this is? And they said, heck no. I said, this is a transformer. And they're like, what? Because you can't tell. You cannot tell. A standalone figure, this thing is great. I wish originally the original makers of Transformers hadn't made them brown, but what are you going to do? How many brown shuttles do you see flying around? Only if it started coming in at a crash landing and... Okay. Anyway, you get that. Alright, so let's do a comparison real quick. That's good advice, Optimus Prime. Perhaps I should do the same. I'll go talk to my troops right now. Let's bring in Air Raid. So we can zoom back a little bit so you get all that. They really are big chunky bots. If you don't have enough space, you better make some, because these are huge. They're MB scaled. Let's go ahead and get him out of the way and bring in MP10. So as you can see, these are actually pretty big. So let's go ahead and get him in his final stage. He needs to be an arm, so we're going to make him an arm. Alright, so close the front landing gear. Leave the back landing gear down for now. And as I said, you want it to be able to get this thing disassembled. So I found the easiest way, for me anyhow, is to be able to get the whole thing apart, is to take these flaps that you push down at the very last and undo them, get a fingernail in there and push up until it comes undone. Get that flap out of the way, get that flap out of the way, get that flap out of the way, and we're still trying to get the flap out of the way, and it doesn't always want to work with you. Alright, pull it out. Pull this hinge jack out, the side hinge, okay? And then take your fingernail, put it under here, and pop this bottom hinge out, just like that. Once that's out, grab the other one, pop it out, and then you're getting there. Go ahead, pop the other side out, pull it up out of the way, pull the other side part out of the way. Now, with those undone, these will come out a lot easier. See, that one just came out on its own because the body's able to move just a little bit, and that's the key to getting that undone. I know a lot of people are having trouble with that. Well, now you won't. Okay, so with that all out of the way, basically what we want to do is kind of put some of the bottom parts back where they used to be. So what we're going to do is we are going to, what are we going to do? We're going to close these parts here. Actually, before we do that, pull that landing gear back out. Go ahead and fold this in. Fold the wing. Fold that flap in. And fold that down. Pull that panel down. Fold the wing. Fold the inner wing. Lock that in place. Pull this down. Then we're going to fold in the landing gear. Pull these two panels down. Lock them in place. Pull the legs apart as well as you can. And then we're going to fold in this tail fin section. Get it in. Tab it. And this side never wants to untab very well. And I'm really afraid to break it because those panels are, the tail fin is really, really thin when it's not together. So I'm going to bring these down, tab the legs back together, tab, 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 and it tabs back in. Now, all tabbed in. Now, we have to disassemble the top just a little bit so we can get to the combiner parts. So, unless you get your fingernail in there, which mine ain't gonna fit. So we want to untab the top, pull it apart. Okay. Oh, I almost forgot. Tab those back in real quick. You can get this top section down without having to do a whole lot. You just want to pull the cockpit part away from the main body of the space shuttle. which mine ain't wanting to do. I put a lot of little ridges in mine from trying to pry this thing apart. When they wanted this to stay together, they weren't joking. They weren't joking at all. Okay, I know you can't see, so let's allow you to see. Once you can get that undone, like so, then you can pull this whole cockpit area back, which I'm going to need to pull it back over anyway, so I might as well make that happen. Come on, work with me, work with me. Okay, once you do that, spread the arms again. Alright, then you're going to want to pull this panel out, so just in front of his neck you want to pull down, and here we can see the combiner port. So we have to basically get that out. So try to remember how to do this. Let's lift these up and see what happens. It's been a while since I've done this. Okay, so we want to, oh, I see, he said. Basically, we're going to do a full 360 on the waist. And then the combiner port just has to be pushed through. And once we're pushing that through, want to pull a little bit as well. Pull on the hinge, and it's not trying to work with me. Push, push, dang you, push. All right, these hinges are just, and the ratchets are so tight, it's not even close to being funny. Okay, once you get that done, pull the ratchet the rest of the way out. Pull the port itself out, and then you can basically close all this back up. So let's close it, snap it all into place, snappity snappity. We like to clickety clickety still. Okay, so basically you want to put all this back together. So we're going to hide his face again. Yeah. That all clicks back into place. And we're going to come down here. We're going to snap the cockpit back together. Push those panels forward. Push the cockpit back down onto the shuttle itself. And there it is. Now we just need to ratchet it. Alright. It worked with us. Amazing. Now, the thrusters all need to be moved up, so bring these top two up, put them in place, bring these bottom two up, put them in place. Then we're going to, that's it. There's your square hole for the fist. There's really nice plastic on these as compared to the aerial bots. The Aerobots, the plastic just seems thinner. Maybe that's not the case. Maybe it's just the plastic isn't as dense as this plastic is. But it just feels different. It feels a lot different, and I'm not really sure why. But there you go. There is his arm, and that thing is humongous. I mean, just look at the difference here. And compared to MP10, that's just an arm. So this thing's going to be huge, and it's going to be nice. It's going to be lovely. I did forget to put the forget to put the guns in whenever he was in jet mode or shuttle mode. And you can take his extra gun, and it will fit in that square hole. So you have a place to put that while he's flying around. Final thoughts. It's a good figure. $60, you can't go wrong. I'm going to collect the rest of them, as I'm sure the rest of you will too. Just keep in mind which way these are facing, because if it's not facing right, it's not, his arm's not going to be able to turn while he's in combine mode. So, and I want to be able to turn mine, so, and I like being able to swivel the whole thing. So anyway, that's it, and you guys have a great day. I appreciate you watching. Subscribe, like, and make sure that if you like this and any other figures you've seen here, make sure to go on to showzstore.com and order those. There's a link down in the description for their Facebook and website. Click on those and give them a holler. Other than that, this is X, and this is Blastoff, all mangled up here. Saying goodbye, and we'll see you next time.
And while Silver bolts away, I am your ranking officer. So, we have reason to believe that Megatron is making his big push. We have to push back. And in order to do so, we must bid our best. So, I will be going through and making sure that you guys have everything you need. Is that understood? Yes, Optimus Prime. Yes, Optimus Prime. Good. Now, transform and roll out. Or in your case, fly or do whatever you need to do.
Optimus Prime knows we plan to attack. So, we must be the first to attack and have the element of surprise. We're Decepticons. That's what we do. Where's Starscream?
I don't know, sir.
Tell him to ready the troops. I'll be back in a moment. Until then, let me see you work. What are you doing?
You said you wanted to see us twerk.
I said work!
Oh.